Hey everybody, welcome back. Once again, it's your girl Jasmine. So I'm doing my July update video for you guys. So this July update video on following Jesus is called Was It Real or Was It All in My Head? And so I did a blog on this the other day talking about was it real or was it all in my head. So I'm gonna kind of tell you guys the story, and I'm probably gonna post this to my blog. So yeah. So basically, what happened to me is in college, I was watching a video of this woman who was a prostitute on my bed one night, and she was also a porn star, and I wondered how the fact that someone could love her, being the fact that she had a lifestyle of prostitution, and a lifestyle of pornographer. Because I did not believe that people could love. I did not believe in love growing up. I did not believe that anyone should really I always liked romance movies and all that other stuff, but did I think that it was real and that someone could really love you? No. I played a lot of games with people. I broke a lot of hearts growing up, and everything was very sexual in my life. And so, because of this, I made a vow to God that I would give him my son if he would give me a family. When I was about 5 years old, I prayed a prayer out the window and I asked God to allow me to go to college and to not be a single mother. So it has, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and one of my biggest fears is to have to be a single mom and raise my child on my own and not having the fact that someone would ever love me. And this is before I even had my fear of love, but I always watched men walk in and out of my mother's life, and my mother was a single mother. So I asked God that at the age of 5 years old, asking if I could not be a single mother. Well, I got to a point where I got older, and I didn't understand how someone could love me, especially after being through the lifestyle I went through. So a year ago, God told me, to write the vision, make it plain. So I did. I had my journal. He gave me the scripture, two are better than one. And if you guys didn't follow me, I showed you guys my journal that I had. And I said, well, God, I don't want someone in my life. That was the biggest thing that I was going to run from. The American dream was not something for me, because I just don't, the American dream talks about, money, cars, material things, and all that stuff making you happy, but at the end of the day, in my testimony video, I talk about how my mother got married. She had a white picket fence house and all that stuff, and she still wasn't happy. So seeing, people in love in my life, has never really been reality. And so, love has always been my greatest fear. And so, it really took me a long time to actually, um, you know, find God, because, the Bible says that God is love in John, 1 John 4:8, you know. And so, I mean, if you're afraid of love, it would, and you're constantly running from love, I was constantly running from God, And so here I am, so I promised God that I'd give him my son, and I asked him to restore my family and everything. So a year ago, he told me to get up, take up my cross, and follow him, leave college, leave school. So I did. He brought me all the way to, then, one night, as I was praying to God, I asked him if one of my friends and me were to be married and be in a relationship, and he gave me an answer. He said that, he said, stop trying to push people out of your life that are supposed to be there. And so, you know, I was very ecstatic. I was excited because, uh, besides the guy who I changed my life for, I was like, wow, there's no one, else around that I would rather be with, because, we had a good friendship, and, for years, he had always liked me, and, I decided that, I wasn't going to date him, because I always lose people that I touch or date. I call myself destruction, and so I would always deny him for years and years the opportunity to actually be with me, and he really wanted to be with me, and um, so God was gonna give me that opportunity, and so I didn't believe what I was hearing from God. So the next day I went to church. I went and I prayed on the altar, And the but first the sermon was Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones. Can these dry bones live? And so, um, of course, it was a dead situation, and I said, "Oh, okay." I went down the altar, and God gave me a vision. He showed me a vision of a little boy, and he had chunky cheeks, and he showed me a vision of him, and he was in a military type looking outfit, um, which was crazy because the night before he was like asking me what if I went to the military, all this other stuff. So um, it was just crazy. But when he had asked me that, God had placed it in my heart earlier that day to ask him about the military, and so I never asked, and then he ended up bringing it up. And then God showed me um, a little girl uh, running to hug him with pink, white, and clear beads with butterfly clips. And then, there was a hand and wedding rings, and it was like God's hand was over our marriage. And I started crying because I said, Lord, this is a lot for me. And I had a lot of doubts, and I had a lot of anxieties because, um, like I said, I looked at that woman and I said, God, how is it that she lives her lifestyle and someone could love her? If you type in, testimonies of prostitutes on YouTube, there's only two that I find, and both of them got married and someone loved them. Well, I didn't understand. It was not. I was not able to comprehend it within my head. So I asked God, Lord, if this is for me in my life, I don't want to lose my friend. I literally how much I valued them in my life was the fact that I wanted them to be in my life, that I would not date them, because I knew how much I lost people whenever I dated them, or, because the last person I had ever really loved, um, I destroyed. I was an abusive relationship. It's what caused me to change my life. When I woke up after a year of realizing I had been abusing someone and they really loved me, you know, and that was my type of form of love because love had always hurt me and love had always abused me. And so, um, it made me want to change my life. And my biggest fear was that I would go down the same road and I would be left behind and they would never come back. Because for years I begged God to bring, the person I changed my life back, around. And so God had me go to California, and at first I sat down with a homeless man, and we ate lunch together, and then I walked around and I ministered to a few other people, and then he sat me in an ice cream parlor, and I said, "Well, God, why am I here?" And he said, I had to bring you all the way out here because I want to know if you really want the vision in which it is that I have for your life. He had to bring me away from my family and friends because no one can make the decision but me. And sometimes God got to get you alone on the other side of the country just so you can make a decision for yourself. I understand why now because my family tried to make a decision for me, believing that I wasn't really hearing from God. They didn't believe. They thought I was relapsing. That was crazy. I was excited. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a family. Someone's gonna be able to love me, and it's gonna be the person that I really want to be with for the last 3 years of my life. Things are just gonna be great. But under the surface, there was more than that. Under the surface, there was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of places that I needed to be healed in. Lord, this doesn't even out. I was doing things in which I didn't balance with my new lifestyle and my that I wanted to live in my old style. lifestyle. I mean, I was living for Christ, but I didn't know how to. I mean, we all have struggles in our life, you know. Well, I didn't want to bring my past struggles, and I wanted to have a good life, you know. I didn't want to make my family suffer, and I didn't want to, you know, do things in which I once did and have my family suffer through them. You know, it's not fair that they would have to suffer through my traumas and my pains and everything. One was, you know, reverting back to cutting when I felt abandoned or when someone was not listening to me, and not being able to express myself in a good manner where I have to write things down, and hand you a letter to let you know this is how I'm feeling, because usually when I try to express stuff to people, they ignore me and they don't listen to what I'm trying to explain to them or even express to them. And so it used to frustrate me because I'm like, no one listens to me. And still, to this day, they still don't. Because even when I told them this is what God had for my life, they didn't believe and tried to control what God had for my life. And so, you know, for the last, I went and God opened the door for me to go to Florida. I went to Tennessee first, and then I had no money, and I woke up one night, there was no internet in the house. There's 25, so I prayed, because he said you have not because you asked not. Woke up, the internet worked enough for me to realize that I had $2,500 in my bank account, and I was able to book my ticket, and then I was able to fly to Florida. So here we are, um, and I am in a place where, you know, I thought, hey, this is going to be my life, you know. I was still hearing God, but I was still in disbelief. So a lot of things occurred, and so me and him decided, you know, we wanted to get married. We decided that in order for this to happen, I needed to fix myself because mentally I was not there. And as much as I preach and teach and help people on a day-to-day basis with, and you know, people tell me you have so much wisdom and all stuff, jazz, I was mentally screwed up from my past. And so I came home, and in the process of me coming home, there was a lot of things that occurred in the process. So here I am teaching and preaching the whole time, and I'm watching as everything God told me gets destroyed. I started losing my friend, and because I was using old tactics for new ways, I didn't know how or to understand how do you keep someone around in your life. And so instead of um, at, the, at this point, I don't even know what I did because I don't even remember. But I know at some point I was hurting my friend. Um, you know, I care about people's opinions and you know what they thought of me because I mean you do ministry and you try to do the right thing. You know, you try to walk how God wants you to walk, um, and you know, but still at the same time, like others' opinions about a lot of stuff. You know, it was always like I always had to ask somebody else for their opinion instead of, you know, okay, this is what I see for my life. You know, um, I remember about a few years back. This is before I even knew about this. I always wanted to name my son Israel Justice, and I remember I was sitting in the car with my grandmother, and my grandma said, "No, you can't have a child. I don't see that for your life." You know, and I was like, "No, I want this in my life." And got on the train and we were passing this wall, and graffiti on it was justice, Justice. Before God even told me, or before I even promised God I'd give him my son. And sorry, I don't even want to start crying. So here I am, and love is a choice. You can't make anybody stay. You can't convince them to stay somewhere that they don't want to stay. They have to want to be there. So I taught, I preached, and I teached. If you go back to my December videos, one of my friends got shot and died, and I didn't know how to even pray. Here I am praying with all my friends and watching as you have no control over this situation, you know? You have no control over whether he lives or whether he dies. You just have to watch the situation die in your life. And it was sad because you just want to have control. You just want to be like, no, stay together, you know, don't die, you know. And that's exactly what happened in my life. I lost my friend. I mean, what did I do so wrong? You know, I told God, if everything's gonna fall apart, I don't want this. If I'm gonna lose my friend, I would have rather stayed not healed for the rest of my life, broken and miserable, but laughing with my friend. I mean, they got me through my college years. I never really told anybody, but I mean, a lot of you guys know I struggled with eating disorder when I was younger. So in college, I was still struggling with, you know, making myself throw up and stuff like that. And I met my friend, and they used to call me beautiful and gorgeous every day. And I was going to get gastro bypass surgery. And just because of their good morning beautiful and good morning gorgeous text, I did not get the surgery. And here I am about 3 years later, and God has shown me how beautiful I am. You know, wait, or, you know, wait. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm still beautiful. And so, like, I love myself versus, you know, a few years ago, you know, and that meant so much to me, you know. And, you know, when you value someone so much, you know, and value their opinion and value their thoughts about you, and, you know, you really care, but you just didn't know how to care, it hurts. So, this whole time, God's been telling me that, you know, I'll have a son. If you guys watch any of my videos, I don't do it purposely, but every time I go to preach, God gives me another one of the women who were barren in the Bible, and He has me do lessons with them because every one of the women who were barren in the Bible had sons. And so that's part of my ministry, you know, life after miscarrying. I talk about barrenness, and not just barrenness because I was barren inside. I couldn't conceive. I was broken. I couldn't, you know, I was broken. I was, you know, I needed to be fixed. I needed to be restored. There needed to be some type of life in me in places that were dead in my life. And so, I mean, I teach on this, you know, and I understand, you know, the concept of everything that God is doing. And so I've always wanted to not give up hope. Well, me and my friends stopped talking. And everything's like, it's like I preach on Lazarus a lot because this is my Lazarus. But Jesus didn't show up. He didn't show up. I mean, what do I do? You know, here I am, and I teach on a day-to-day basis, and you know, I'm at the point of I want to believe God. But how do you believe God for something been believing God for, and the whole time you've been believing God for it, you've been watching it be destroyed? And I lost my friend. And my greatest fear is that if he allows my friend to come back in my life, it's having to live through the pain of losing my friend again. And so it all started a year ago. My family didn't even know they were moving to Florida. God wanted me to move to Florida, and me and my friend were supposed to get married. So here it is. And my family just went down to Florida a few weeks ago, and they found a house so they can move. You know, they've been looking at houses so they can move. And here I am, and I'm writing a book called His Will, Your Will. And I'm still walking in the footsteps of the plan as if I was supposed to move to Florida. And me and my friend, we're going to be together, get married, and um, have a son, and you know, be able to do my ministry and help people. And so, like, you know, I've been doing. Well, I am literally a few months away from moving to Florida. And I teach, I blog. I don't love God just because He offered me this opportunity and it didn't happen. I love God because I love God. I still kept preaching when everything fell apart because I love Him, not because He offered me the biggest opportunity that I ever wanted. I mean, you could give me my degree, and you could give me a big house, and you could give me everything this world had to offer. But if I couldn't love, and if I couldn't have a family of my own one day and not be a single mom, what was any of those things to me? Nothing. So here I am. And I'm still walking in the footsteps of as if everything's supposed to be okay. Do I have faith anymore in my circumstance? I want it. I want it more than anything. Does it hurt? Yeah. Because Jesus never came back and fixed my situation. You know, someone asked me the other day, you know, how long do you wait? And I say, as long as it takes. But there's this feeling you get when you know that you're supposed to move to Florida, and the place that bothers you the most is you're going to the place where it's like a valley of dry bones. It's a death situation. It's like you're leading me into a dead situation. do I believe? I may not have preached it long enough. I've taught it. We all have those areas in our lives where we can believe God for everything, but that one thing is just hard to believe God for. And I want that vision that I saw on the altar a year ago that God gave me. More than anything, it has motivated me to fly across the country and look like a fool and watch my family be restored in the process. It has motivated me to break through and get my healing to want to love. I mean, it's been my motivation. But if I never see vision, I have faith in God for a lot of things. I quit college, my degree, to fly across the country and look like a crazy woman. So I don't understand why it is so hard for me to not have faith. And I think that the biggest reason is because God can't make someone love you or even want to be there. They have to want it for themselves, you know? Think about when you give your life to Christ, right? He can't make you love Christ or want to go to heaven or accept Him. You have to want to love Him. You have to want to accept Christ. He loves you. And so that's what makes the vision so hard to see. Because He can't make someone love me or want to be there. They have to want it for themselves. And so that's my update video. I'm struggling. But I'm still following Jesus. And it's hard because I'm gonna be set in a valley full of dry bones. And it's the biggest situation in my life that hits me hard, and I still try to teach and do my lessons, but you know how I'm gonna keep teaching and doing my lessons. It's just it hurts, you know. But I still love God, and I know what it's like now to give up everything for desire of wanting something so bad. Christ gave up His Son for the desire of wanting to have that reconciliation between His people and Him. He had that relationship with us. And I gave up everything for this. And to feel like I can lose it all in the end. It hurts. And I know that's probably how God feels. Some people never come to Christ. They never choose love. And so, yeah, I am at the point where it's the July update video, but I'm basically saying, was it real or was it all in my head? So we're just gonna continue walking in faith and trusting God. Alright, until we meet again. God bless.